Have you ever felt like you no longer fit into the same conversations, the same places, the same routines? As if something inside you had awakened before you even understood what was happening. If that feeling has been constant, you may be one of the few chosen ones who are activating fifth-dimensional consciousness, even without knowing its name. This shift doesn't begin with applause or clarity. It arrives as a deep discomfort, a fatigue that sleep cannot cure, a silent restlessness with no logical explanation. You begin to see life with new eyes. Things that once fulfilled you now feel empty. People who once completed you now feel distant. This is the beginning of the crossing. This is the call that only 1% of the chosen recognize right away. Not because they are better, but because they are ready. Ready to remember who they truly are, to align with their essence, to break out of autopilot and live with awareness. It's as if an invisible key had turned within the soul, and a new frequency began to vibrate. 5D activation is not a magical event. It's a continuous, silent, and deep process. It involves the body, the mind, the spirit, and relationships. And as challenging as it may seem, you've never been closer to your truth than you are now. So if something inside you felt this calling, don't ignore it. This is real. This is sacred. Welcome, Chosen One. My name is George, and I'm here to walk with you on this awakening journey. Let's cross into this new time together, with lightness, awareness, and truth. If you felt this message speak to your soul, I invite you. Follow the channel, because here we recognize each other, support each other, and walk side by side. The awakening of 5D consciousness has already begun. Chosen One, have you ever had that feeling that something has changed inside you, but you can't quite explain what it is? As if suddenly, the world remained the same, but you no longer belong to it. This may seem confusing, but it's a clear sign. Your consciousness is shifting. You are beginning to awaken to the frequency of the fifth dimension, and that changes everything. What's most curious is that most of the time this change doesn't begin with joy or clarity. Quite the opposite. The first phase can feel like a collapse. You start to feel that something is wrong with your routine, your habits, even your own thoughts. Your body gives you signs. Your mind questions everything, and your soul cries out for something you don't yet know how to name. This discomfort is sacred. It's the beginning of a journey that few recognize, but one that transforms anyone who has the courage to follow. You're not just becoming someone more spiritual. You're changing stations, as if your soul had tuned into a new channel with a higher frequency, while the world around you is still stuck on the old one. And when this tuning begins, everything that no longer vibrates with this new frequency starts to break away. Friendships, patterns, environments, even old dreams. It's not that you've grown cold. It's that your energy is becoming refined. What no longer serves you naturally drifts away. Maybe you've noticed this in your days, irregular sleep, waking up in the middle of the night with intense thoughts, feeling tired without physical cause. This isn't weakness. This is energetic updating. Your soul is integrating a new consciousness, and your body is trying to keep up. Courage to let go. Courage to accept that you are changing. Courage to cross this bridge between the old and the new, even without knowing exactly what's on the other side. This transition is the entry into the fifth dimension, and you're not walking toward it. You are already in it. The fifth dimension is not a place. It is a state of consciousness. It's where you realize that you are not your thoughts, not your pain, not your fears. It's where you begin to live, not by reacting, but by responding. Where peace doesn't come from the absence of problems, but from the presence of something greater within you. The fifth dimension is the home of your essence. And now that you've started to awaken, there's no turning back. But then again, there's no reason to want to go back. The best is yet to be discovered. When everything begins to fall apart. Chosen one. Maybe you're asking yourself, if I'm awakening to something greater, why does everything seem to be going wrong? This is one of the most common questions among those crossing the bridge from the third to the fifth dimension. And here's a truth that few talk about. Spiritual awakening doesn't always start with light. Sometimes it starts with chaos. At the beginning of the journey, the sensation is one of loss. Not because you're losing something essential, but because everything that was based on illusion starts to crumble. It's as if your soul is clearing the rubble of who you thought you were to reveal who you truly are. That's why many things that once made sense now feel empty. During this phase, your emotions also become more intense. You may cry out of nowhere, feel anger, and then deep peace. This happens because what was repressed is coming to the surface. It's as if your inner being is saying, "We can't hide anymore. Now it's time to heal." And you know what's most beautiful about this process? Even without fully understanding it rationally, something in you already knows you're on the right path. Even if it hurts, there's a part of your soul that is at peace. Because it recognizes the process, it remembers the journey. Many around you might not understand what's happening with you. They may call you different, weird, or even cold. But you don't need to explain yourself. You're changing on the inside, and not everyone is ready to comprehend this transformation. The calling of the fifth dimension isn't about escaping reality. It's about seeing reality through the eyes of the soul. It's understanding that the external world is merely a reflection of your inner vibration. And the more you align with the truth of your essence, the more your world transforms as well. You are not alone on this journey. Other chosen ones are also awakening, silently, facing inner battles no one sees. But the good news is that after the collapse comes the rebirth. And what is born from 5D consciousness is lightness, clarity, and freedom. So if everything seems to be falling apart, celebrate. It means the foundation of the old you is being removed so that the true you can emerge. Don't fight the process. Trust it. You're just beginning to remember what you came here to do. Your soul already knows the way. When the body and soul change frequency, chosen one, as you awaken to fifth dimensional consciousness, your body begins to respond. This can be confusing, especially when the signs appear unexpectedly. But know this, it's not your body breaking. It's your soul updating everything from within. The fifth dimension is not just a mental or spiritual state. It is also felt in the physical. And as you're crossing an internal portal, everything that you are, body, mind, emotions, and spirit, needs to align with this new energy. And that alignment can be uncomfortable at first. Let's talk about some of the common symptoms of the 5D transition. Not to scare you, but to bring you clarity. You may be waking up frequently in the middle of the night, often between 3 and 4 a.m. This isn't ordinary insomnia. It's your energetic field expanding during a moment of stillness when the mind is more open to spiritual downloads. It's as if the soul uses the silence of the night to deliver instructions, messages, revelations. Another common symptom is a change in eating habits. Foods that once brought you pleasure may now seem heavy, tasteless, or cause discomfort. You might crave more natural foods, or at times lose your appetite completely. This happens because your body is asking for a cleanse, not just physically, but energetically. It's as if it's saying, "I want to support something lighter." Perhaps you've also noticed a heightened sensitivity to environments. Places that once felt pleasant now bring discomfort. Crowds, noise, shallow conversations, all of it may quickly drain you. That's because your energy is more refined, purer. You are now sensing the weight of what once went unnoticed. Chosen one, all of this may feel confusing, but it's a good sign. It's a sign that you are connecting with your essence, that your soul is no longer asleep. It's waking up, and in this awakening, your body is the first messenger. So instead of worrying, embrace it. Listen to what your body is saying. Rest more, drink more water, stay close to nature. Avoid people and places that drain your energy. Nourish yourself with what feeds you, not just what fills you. Honor this body that is doing deep work on your behalf. This phase is delicate, but also a blessing. You are exchanging the old for something new, something lighter, more aligned, more truthful. What you're feeling is not fragility, it's sensitivity, and sensitivity is strength when guided by awareness. Remember, this is not illness, it's awakening. It's not weakness, it's expansion. Your body is adjusting to live a new reality, and you, chosen one, are ready to hold this light. When relationships and habits no longer make sense, chosen one, when consciousness begins to rise, it's not just the body that changes. Life around you also begins to reorganize. You look at certain situations, people, and habits, and simply feel, this no longer makes sense to me. That feeling is not arrogance. It's growth. You may have noticed that some relationships are fading away. No fights, no major conflicts, just a natural drifting apart. Before, those people seemed to understand you, to walk with you. Now, it's as if they're speaking another language. You try to connect, but it feels forced. And then comes the guilt. Am I being ungrateful? Do I think I'm better than them? But chosen one, know this. It's simply the frequency shifting. Not everyone is meant to walk the same path as you. And that's okay. Everyone has their own timing. Some will walk with you for a while. Others will stay behind. Some might even return later. The important thing is to understand that you're not walking away out of pride. You're preserving your energy. The truth is, when you begin to awaken, your eyes open to things that once went unnoticed. Empty conversations, friendships based on appearances, cycles that repeat without purpose. You can't tolerate them anymore, and that's healthy. It's a sign that you're choosing truth, even if it comes with loneliness. You may feel nostalgic for what you've lost, but that nostalgia is part of grieving an old you that is being left behind. A you that survived, that endured much, that shaped itself to be accepted. But now, you are beginning to truly live. And truly living requires presence. It requires discernment. You no longer say yes to everything. You no longer accept any energy. You no longer force yourself to fit where you don't belong. That's not ego, it's self-respect. Little by little, you begin to attract new people. People who speak your language, who vibrate similarly, who bring peace instead of chaos. These connections are different, light, deep, truthful. Not because they are perfect, but because they are aligned. And the most beautiful part? You don't need to chase after them. Just remain in your truth. What is real will always find its way to you. Chosen one, this stage is one of the most challenging, but also one of the most sacred. Letting go is part of the process. And with every cycle that ends, a new space is created. A space where only what vibrates love, truth, and light can enter. Trust. You are clearing the ground so the connections of your new reality can bloom. Keep going. How the fifth dimension alters your perception of reality. Chosen one, have you ever felt like time is acting strangely? As if the days are going by too quickly? Or as if certain moments last an eternity? Maybe you've lost track of the days of the week, or feel that the clock no longer dictates your internal rhythm. This isn't carelessness. It's a symptom of transition. As you enter the frequency of the fifth dimension, your perception of time begins to shift, and deeply. This happens because in 5D, time is no longer linear like it is in the third dimension. It becomes more flexible, more fluid. You begin to live more in the present and less trapped in the past or anxious about the future. In the old consciousness, everything was done in a rush. Life was measured in goals, schedules, deadlines, and pressure. But now something within you wants to slow down. It wants to live with more presence. You no longer want to run, you want to feel. And that changes everything. In the fifth dimension, you learn to trust the intuition of the moment more than rigid plans. Not because you are disorganized, but because you understand that the soul has its own rhythm. And when you follow that rhythm, everything starts to fall into place more gently, more coherently, more synchronously. The so-called coincidences become common. You think of someone, and they call. You ask for an answer in prayer, and it arrives in a stranger's sentence. You feel drawn to go somewhere and bump into someone you needed to see. This isn't chance, it's alignment. In this new consciousness, time ceases to be a tyrant and becomes an ally. You stop worrying about when things will happen, and you begin to ask, what can I learn from this now? This shift lifts a huge weight from your shoulders, because you understand that each moment has its purpose. There's no such thing as wasted time. There is only time lived with or without awareness. And now, you are learning to live with awareness. You no longer need to control everything. You just need to align yourself with the flow of divine timing, and trust that what is meant for you will arrive at the right time, in the right way, with the right energy. Chosen one. When you notice that your relationship with time is changing, celebrate it. This is another sign that you are leaving the logic of scarcity and entering the frequency of abundance. Because when you live in the present, everything you need is already there. And what isn't there, the universe is preparing. In the meantime, breathe deeply, observe the signs, and keep trusting. You are exactly where you need to be. When energy speaks before words. Chosen one, have you noticed that your body has been speaking more intensely lately? Strange sensations, sudden chills, heat at the crown of the head, unexplained tingling, changes in appetite, and even shifts in sleep. All of this may seem confusing, but it's not illness. It's energetic transformation. As your consciousness awakens to the fifth dimension, your body must adapt to hold this new frequency. And this doesn't happen only in the spiritual realm. It happens in your cells, your nerves, your bones. Your body is being adjusted, recalibrated, updated. It is becoming a more sensitive, purer, more connected channel. Before you were living in survival mode, alert, tired, reactive. Now, even without realizing it, your energy system is being reorganized to operate in presence, peace, and intuition. But this transition, like any system update, can bring temporary instability. Maybe you feel more sensitive to your environment. Places that once felt normal now drain you. Loud sounds bother you. Certain foods feel too heavy. You start to notice what your body tolerates and what it rejects. This is not fussiness. It's energetic discernment. Don't be alarmed by this. On the contrary, be gentle with yourself. When you feel the need to rest, rest without guilt. When you feel the need to walk, stretch, eat better, or even fast, follow that inner guidance. Your body is a messenger of the spirit, and now it's being adjusted to carry more light. This also explains why you might be more emotional, crying for no reason, laughing in relief, having vivid or symbolic dreams. The body is processing what the mind can't handle, and the more you accept it, the lighter the process becomes. Remember, true spirituality does not ignore the body, it honors it. Your body is the temple where consciousness manifests, and therefore it must also be cared for, loved and respected, not as a burden, but as an ally in the journey. If you feel strange pains that come and go, sudden dizziness, a desire for silence, changes in your menstrual cycle or appetite, all of this may be connected to the activation of your energetic field. And the more you align with peace, the more these symptoms stabilize. Chosen one, your body is awakening with you. It is not an obstacle, it is the path. And little by little you'll notice that it becomes your greatest guide. Because truth always manifests first in the body, even before it reaches the mind. Respect your rhythm. Embrace your sensitivity. What seems strange now will be clarity tomorrow. You are being prepared to hold more light, more love, more truth. Trust the process. Your body knows the way. Remembering who you are and living 5D consciousness, chosen one. If you've come this far, it's because something inside you already knows. You're no longer just seeking answers. You're recognizing truths that already lived in your spirit, just waiting for the right moment to awaken. And that moment has arrived. The journey toward 5D consciousness isn't a destination. It's a remembering. It's a return to your inner home, a place where your essence can finally breathe without needing to hide behind masks, fears, or the expectations of others. Maybe you've been feeling different, more sensitive, more reflective, more selective about what you consume, who you connect with, where you step. This isn't isolation, it's energetic discernment. You're listening to the voice of your soul, and it's guiding you with firmness and love. 5D consciousness isn't some unattainable state of perfection. It is presence. It is truth. It is lightness in the midst of chaos. It's that moment when you stop reacting to life and begin to respond with awareness. When you start seeing beyond appearances, feeling what is real, even if the eyes can't yet see it. You don't need to know everything, you just need to keep listening, feeling, following. Each step you take, even uncertain, is being guided by a divine intelligence that operates through your intuition. And that's the true compass of 5D. Feeling before knowing, loving before understanding, trusting before seeing. The world out there may seem out of sync. People may remain trapped in cycles of fear, control, competition, and scarcity. But you, chosen one, were called to live differently, to vibrate in compassion, authenticity, and presence. And in doing so, to be light, not through words, but through example. The fifth dimension is where the ego begins to serve the soul, where action is born from consciousness, not from haste, where love is no longer a craving, but an expression of your inner state, where you stop seeking validation and begin living in truth. And yes, you can live this reality here, now, in this world, in the body you have, in the life you have. The transition doesn't require you to flee to the top of a mountain. It begins in the silence of your breath, in the intention behind your choices, in the peace you cultivate even when no one is watching. Chosen one, your presence is part of the divine plan. When you align with the truth of your soul, the entire field around you transforms. Every small healing you allow also heals the collective. Your awakening isn't just about you, it's about all of us. So breathe. Embrace everything you've been. Honor everything you've overcome. And above all, remember, you are not alone. There is a network of awakened souls, like you, who are vibrating, feeling, transforming the world from the inside out. The fifth dimension is your home, and you're already here. Getting here was not by chance. If you've read every word, if something inside you was touched, it's because your soul already knew. It knew this content wasn't just information. It was a reminder, a calling, a silent confirmation that you are on the path, even if that path sometimes feels invisible to the eyes. The journey of awakening is not easy. It demands detachment, courage, and a faith that can't always be explained. But every symptom, every sign, every transformation you've felt until now is part of something greater. Your soul is emerging. And the most beautiful part is that you don't need to understand everything with your mind, because your soul already understands. In the fifth dimension, life becomes lighter, not because the challenges disappear, but because you begin responding to life with awareness. You learn to trust your intuition, to rest in silence, to realize that peace isn't in what happens outside, but in what vibrates within. And when that happens, you're no longer just existing. You're living in alignment. This is the beginning of a new life. A life where you honor your body, respect your timing, choose with more presence, feel with more depth. A life where you stop being a prisoner of others' expectations and become the guardian of your own light. And that light, even if small, is already beginning to illuminate others around you. Chosen one, your journey is unique, but not solitary. There is an invisible network of awakened beings like you, spread across the world, feeling, transforming, vibrating in silence. Together we are co-creating a new reality, more human, more conscious, more loving. And if you've made it this far, know this: you are an essential part of it. Now, I want to hear from you. What touched you most in this message? Which part spoke directly to you? Share in the comments a word, a feeling, an experience you've had during this process. Your sharing could light the path for other chosen ones.